Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on Monday, June 29th, 2026. Right, so today, start of a new week, also the last few days of June, start of July, and we have seen that heat wave break down. It's to our east now, boundary line being this cold front marked by this area of cloud through Norway, Sweden, down through Denmark, Germany, France, Italy, and so on. And we're into a cooler, fresher air mass from the west. Downstream, we see a lot of clouds spilling in from the west and some areas of low pressure seen by these swirls. Not overly deep as we are in summer, and the jet stream and the contrast in temperature between the north and the south is weaker, but still we're in a more changeable regime with the most wet and windy weather focused in the north and the driest and brightest weather focused in the south. Right, so moving on, you can see radar, some storms over parts of Europe there along the cold front. Otherwise, today so far is quite dry, but we will see this area of clouds associated with a frontal zone pushing in later on from the west, and ahead of it, we will see some showers forming, and those could be quite heavy. Right, so just to show you how impressive this heat wave was, at around June 20th, the CET was below average by about 0.5 degrees. It was in the 14s, but over the past week or so, it's really shot up and is now sitting above 17 degrees at 17.3, and that is 3.2 degrees above average. So it's risen by about 3 or 4 degrees in a week. So it's really, really exceptional, this heat wave. Because up to about mid-June, the month overall had been quite cool, with a lot of westerly winds, a lot of showers, and quite cold air masses coming in there from Greenland and Iceland. But yeah, this has been a very, very hot spell, and will mean that June overall comes out as a much hotter than average month there. Right, so and that's for both Ireland and the UK. So here is the UK V-run, the high res for clouds and rainfall. So we can see this morning it's quite dry, a few showers in the west, but overall quite cloudy. Best of the bright spells are for eastern England. Now, as we go to the afternoon, we'll see showers forming over parts of Ireland. These focused across central, northern, and some areas in the east, and these could be quite heavy actually, with a risk of some hail in there in the strongest towers. Otherwise, we'll see showers and a more general area of rain pushing in from the southwest through the evening. That will push across all areas, bringing quite a wet end to Monday. Further east across England, Wales and Scotland, a few showers in Scotland, otherwise quite dry, if rather cloudy, across Wales and England, and the best of any bright spells again for the southeast. So we're back to a more typical pattern for Ireland and the UK. So overnight we'll see further rain pushing into Ireland and Scotland. Again, heavy at times, some heavier bursts in there, especially later on in the night across parts of Ireland. There's some bright echoes coming through. As always, for Wales and England, very little coming through. So where we need the rain the most, it's the driest, basically. And as we go through into Tuesday morning, again, these showers keep coming through Ireland, Scotland, parts of Wales and northern England. Again, heavy at times, some hail and thunder. And through Tuesday itself, as the sun comes out, we'll see some further clouds building up, some cumulus clouds, some towers building up, and therefore some heavy downpours. These again focused on Ireland, Scotland, Wales and northern England. A few pushing into more eastern areas by evening, possibly. Now, that system clears away through Tuesday night, and we're left with cloud and clear spells to start Wednesday morning, and of course, July. And through Wednesday itself, well, further cloud and rain will push in from the west through Ireland in the morning. This pushes into Scotland through the afternoon. Some heavier pulses, especially through Scotland and Northern Ireland. In the south, again, through parts of Ireland, Wales and England, it's quite dry, best of the sunshine, once again in the south and southeast I am just a broken record at this point. Right, so heading on through the evening. Again, that rain clears through. Overnight it stays quite cloudy, some patchy rain. Thursday, much drier and brighter across all areas within a westerly airflow. So this will bring a few showers possibly to the western and northern coast. Otherwise, it's dry, decent, and probably temperatures into the low 20s. Into Friday, well, we see further bright spells in most areas to start Friday. But through the day, cloud will again just push in from the west. Some patchy rain, especially over the Highlands of Scotland. And we go into Saturday looking like that. Some patchy rain heading towards Scotland. Otherwise, dry, cloudiest in west and north, clearest in the east and south. And that is, we'll see the rain shift northwards through the weekend due to an area of high pressure trying to build in from the south there. So that is something of note. So heading into the temperature forecast then, so we'll go through this because it's quite similar every day. Today, highest temperatures again. So through the week, we'll see highest temperatures across more eastern and southern areas, always cooler west and north. So today we're going high teens to low 20s, again, that northwest to southeast gradient. As we go through overnight period, a bit milder possibly than last night, lows about 16 degrees in the southeast of England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, northern England in the low teens and mid-teens. Tomorrow, Tuesday, again, high teens, low 20s, always warmer towards the east and south. Back to that general summer trend. So it's quite benign, if I'm being honest. There's nothing too exciting going on. But I'm sure everyone's pretty glad that we've got rid of that excessive heat and, of course, that humidity. It was oppressive. We had dew points around 20 degrees combined with those temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s, mid 30s, high 30s. So it was a very muggy, heavy feeling air mass, of course, which made it very much uncomfortable. As we go into Thursday, again, similar trend in temperatures, high teens, low 20s. By Friday and Saturday, a bit warmer across much of England and Wales, into the mid-20s there. And that is a sign of things to come, quite likely. So here's the GFS midnight run. So we have this deep area of low pressure coming through, but it will weaken and shallow. It'll weaken and become more shallow as it pushes towards us. So we can see it loses its isobars and turns into just a trough of low pressure, bringing rain and showers through tomorrow. And that clears through. Then this next low comes through again, possibly it can be quite windy towards the north actually through Wednesday night. Most of the rain also in the north, and that could be quite heavy. Into the end of the week, well, high pressure starts to build up from the south, and that tries to build in some clearer skies as well in the south. In the north, you are exposed there. You are still between the lows to the north and the highs to the south. So you see that long fetch wind from southwest. That will be moisture laden, very humid, with plenty of cloud piling into Scotland. You can see there, that's basically a big belt of clouds that just lies parallel and just heads towards Scotland there. And probably with a bit of drizzle, rain, yeah, you can see a bit of moisture also along that band. So that could be something a bit tricky up in the north, while in the south it does clear up and we see some decent sunshine. But I think all areas should see clearance there by Monday, well, most areas away from the far northwest. And as we go into next week, well, GFS has the area of high pressure, it does break down, and we're back into westerly winds again. Then we see another build of high pressure by the end of the week. But then more low pressure sort of flattens it off. Then we get a more and then we get the strong build of high pressure towards mid-month, and that would bring widely sunny conditions, very warm to hot as well. Upper air temperatures are quite warm, so probably up to 30 degrees again in the south. In the north, mid to high 20s. So yeah, we're back to possibly GFS shows mid-July being a sustained warm or hot spell. bit of a messy first part of July with the high pressure and low pressure very much changing around, alternating. We will be alternating between the warm and dry weather and the cool and wet weather before we go fully into the warm and dry weather with conviction. Right, so as we head into the ECM, well, again that low comes through here. Then this next low comes through on Wednesday night and Thursday, possibly windy for a time as well. And then the ECM built up the high pressure system into the weekend. Okay, so the ECM keeps it a bit further south, and that means that more areas in the central and northern regions will be having to deal with more cloud cover over the weekend and patchy rain. In the south, some brighter spells are likely and warmer as well. Then by next Monday and Tuesday, well, the high pressure comes in more over us. So, but by then, more areas seeing clearance. But again, if you're in that northern corner, that northern part of the country, and especially in northwests, well, unfortunately, be quite a bit of clouds to deal with up there on that long fetch southwesterly wind there, that big conveyor belt of clouds coming in on that southwesterly wind. So yeah, that's unfortunate if you're in the north. Right, so as we go into the end of the week, well, a bit messy, some weak areas of low pressure coming through. Again, that will alternate with areas of high pressure, warmer and drier weather as well. So it's a bit messy as we head into July. A bit less confidence, I'd say, than yesterday on Heatwave number 3. Well, late May, late June, and then possibly part of July. So here's the UK Met run. So UK Met, once again, we're in this more zonal flow, this more typical flow for summer in Ireland and the UK. This clears through. Okay, so here's the period of interest. Starting around Friday and Saturday, well, high pressure starts to build in from the south, but it stays more to the south, and that means all areas are exposed to a more westerly winds. So skies might clear up there in the far south, but for most areas, I say it's quite cloudy, quite low cloud bases as well. So mist and fog and drizzle. Okay, so the UK Met, it tries to bring the south anyway a bit more decent weather in the weekend with some bright spells. In the north, I think you'll have quite a thick cloud cover. But if you're east of higher ground, like say eastern Scotland, that pattern might favour fern effects and the cloud burning off over the hills, and you get warm sunshine across eastern Scotland and that sort of area. So here's the GEM and parts of eastern northern England, east of the Pennines, east of Grampians, that sort of stuff. Right, so here's the GEM. GEM, once again, we're seeing these areas of low pressure through this week. That one looks quite deep there for parts of Scotland. Could be a bit windy for a while. Okay, so period of interest starts around here. So Friday, Saturday, low pressure to our north remains strong. High pressure tries to build up from the south. It inches up. It tries to dislodge the lows, but it's quite a strong flow from the west. Those lows, that whole pool of low pressure up here. So it's putting stress on the high pressure. So as we go through into Sunday and Monday, well, the high pressure tries to bring some decent weather into the south, but in the north, I think you will be exposed to that Atlantic flow. And as we end up there towards the middle of the week there, well, high pressure over the country looks flimsy, and some troughs do lie to the west. That was a mistake. Let's get the icon back up again. Here we go. Apologies. Put it there, and action. Right, so in we go. We keep these lows coming through this week, and then Friday, Saturday, not as good with the icon. So the icon keeps the high pressure centered just to our southwest over the Celtic Sea, and that means that all areas remain westerly. So we see a lot of cloud with that. Best of the bright spells in the southeast and to the east of higher ground. And then, okay, by next Sunday and Monday, more areas seeing bright spells, but generally, I think that this whole area of low pressure towards Greenland, Scotland, not Malin Sea, towards the Norwegian Sea, towards Svalbard, that whole area up here is putting pressure on any high pressure. That I'm not going down that road again. It's putting stress on high pressure that's trying to build up from the south. So, and here's the arpege. Well, the arpege is like this. Once again, we see low pressures coming through this week, followed by transient ridges. That one looks quite deep there for parts of Scotland. We might check out the wind gusts with that, actually. It might cause issues just because it is late June, early July. We are in high summer. And we end up on Friday, 3rd July, looking like that. High pressure trying to ridge up, but facing pressure from these troughs to our north. And we'll just have a look at our ensemble graph here. So that's for London. This is for temperatures at 850 HPA. So red line is the mean, white line is the average. Red line's the mean, like averaged out over the past several years. White line is the ensemble mean, and the thick green line is the GFS run that we just saw, and every other line is an ensemble of the GFS. There we go. So currently, about average, follow this along. We see a rise in the temperatures. They trend upwards from about July 4th and onwards. So that's about the start of the weekends and into the second part and into the second week of July. And that trend does maintain itself. However, there is a lot of spread. You can see some ensembles going above 20 Celsius aloft, so that's very hot. But others keep it around average. But just the mean is between, the high options and the low options. So hence, the mean lies above the average line. But we could be going very hot or staying around average with areas of low pressure coming in. There we go. So quite a lot of uncertainty masked by that trend upwards in upper air temperatures there. If we go somewhere up in the north, like say Glasgow, I think we'll see more of a spread and lower options. That's not what we want. We want this one. Yeah, so you can see what's happening here. There's less of a defined trend upwards and a slightly bigger spreads. So some temperatures, some ensembles going for plus almost 20 degrees at 850 HPA, but others keep it below average down here. So yeah, there's quite a lot of uncertainty, a lot to play for. In the north, your odds are always better the further south you are in this setup. And in many setups, it really is. Anyway, so we'll just end off looking at that wind gust graphic that I was talking about. Okay. Looking at Wednesday evening, aren't we? Yes, we are. So wind gusts aren't exceptionally high on this run. A few 40-mile-per-hour gusts around, but could be a bit more impactful than normal, given it is start of July. UK Met Run had this low like that. Okay, let's see how it did it. So the UK Met Run had it less steep overall, and that's why the UKV is having it less steep. Let's just have a look at the arpege, because we're gonna have a look at this because it is something of interest that might be a bit impactful. So as we go through Wednesday evening, yeah, you can see again gusts strongest into parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northern England, and Wales. But yeah, currently a bit uncertain. Shouldn't be a name storm, but just thought I'd point it out because it could impact some summer activities and trends and holidays and camping and so on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Keeping a close eye on this system and the possible Azores High building in, and we'll see how much stress that trough to our north does apply to any attempts at building the high northwards. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you, and bye for now.